Welcome to Casually Dressed Deep Conversation with me, Greg Chalmers, and as always, Christopher Shields. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad, pal. How you getting on?
I am fantastic, mate. I nearly said fabulous again there, but I never
nearly said it.
I know. Our guest this evening is Lewis Pooch van Poetsch. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, mate. All good. All good. Plodding on.
Nothing else for it, is there?
Keep working.
Aye, so kind of leads me into what I was going to ask you anyway. How's your lockdown / COVID exposure been?
I ain't really stopped working. I work as a lift engineer for Brothers Lifts. Shout out to those guys. I haven't really stopped working. We're sort of not key workers, but like we work at a lot of places which require disabled access and just need lifts. So we haven't stopped working. So it's been alright.
Fair dues, mate. Fair dues. So for anyone who doesn't know who or what it is that you do, so we've obviously been back and forward today watching everything you've ever said on YouTube and watched your fights and stuff like that. So how did you get into boxing?
So I got into boxing by accident. I'm from a place called Lydney in the Forest of Dean, and it's a small place. There's a boxing club next door to the rugby club, and the football club I used to play for. I always wanted to sort of pop my head in there, but sort of never really got round to it. And my parents wouldn't let me because I had a mild case of epilepsy when I was a baby. So my parents were sort of apprehensive about letting me go. But I talked them into it eventually, and I went to watch a friend of mine called Chris Higgs fight. He actually fought Luke Campbell in the junior ABA finals.
Oh, wow.
And he beat him. And I just like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who was in the ring. I just sort of watched my mate from the same street that I grew up on in Lydney. And just like the atmosphere. I just liked what I saw. And I thought I'd give that a go. Because I've always sort of had one eye on going to the boxing gym, which was next door. Never got around to it. And then one day I just thought, screw it, I'm going to give it a go after going to watch this afternoon of boxing. And I haven't looked back.
Quite right, mate.
Yeah.
I think it's they can when you're not sure of, like, you've never ever been in, they can be quite intimidating places, can't they, boxing gyms? But I think the minute you get into one and you can have that kind of initial kind of intimidation's gone, you're like, actually, this is all right. It's an excellent place.
No, definitely. I never got too intimidated by it. It was just the fact that my dad wouldn't let me go. As I got a bit older, I started playing rugby. And I was quite soft as a child, so boxing wasn't really something I would go to. I was a bit weak. I sort of got picked on a little bit for being a bit soft, and boxing never really got into the forefront of my mind. I sort of looked at the gym and thought it might be quite good to just another sport I can get involved with, because that's what I like to do at a young age. And eventually got around to it. I'm glad I did now.
I was quite similar as well. I mean, I really like the idea of boxing. Again, I'm quite similar to yourself. My parents weren't that keen on me going and doing it. And it genuinely wasn't until I actually joined the army that I went to go and done a bit of boxing in the army, and got knocked out in front of a whole regiment, which was great.
Twice.
No, not twice. No, not twice. Not twice. The second time, I actually went best boxer, but lost on the night. It didn't make any sense.
That's like the Fair Play Award.
It was. No, honestly, genuinely.
Best endeavour boxer.
No, I didn't get best mong, genuinely, but I actually got best boxer on the night, but then lost, but didn't get the result. So it was like, I think it just threw me a bone, because I felt like
that's the life of a journeyman, mate.
I was going to say, that's it. I've become a journeyman of fucking regimental boxing.
Just getting carted out to army regiments about around the country.
Best fighter of the night, but don't get
that's it. Got fucking lost in the cards.
So, since you mentioned the Journeyman, see, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, could you explain and give us a wee bit of background as to what it is?
It's hard to explain, like, the role of a journeyman. It's essentially, we're just the away fighter. So you're the away team. Everything's against you, and like you're the opponent to bring on these up and comers and ticket sellers. More so, just ticket sellers, really. Like, there's only I'd say 1 in every 5 to 10 lads that I fight are probably going to be going somewhere.
Mhm.
But because they can sell 150 tickets in their hometown, I'm brought in as the opponent to make them look good for the evening. Yeah,
Yeah.
having I don't really take the sport too serious. Like, I take all a pinch of salt. I drink beer and I eat fast foods whilst I'm training, and like I just live a normal. I'm 30 now. I live a normal 30-year-old's life.
Mhm.
But concurrently, I've been a professional athlete. So
Best of both worlds.
definitely.
So tell me, so you're saying you get brought in. I've been to a couple of these boxing nights and stuff, and when you walk in, see the away fighter, they get absolute dog's abuse.
Oh,
How if you're getting that? I mean, am I right in saying you've over 100 fights, 130 odd fights? Is that right?
yeah, 135.
Right. If you've had to do that 135 times, how do you not take it personally? Just all around the country, people fucking going mental.
Because if you go to a boxing show nowadays, the days of boxing fans going to boxing shows is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
people, like I just said, like they're selling 150 tickets in their hometown. So like when I fight over in Glasgow, you got these lads that are from Glasgow and Paisley area where the fights are being put on. Yeah, definitely. But like they're I haven't sold a single ticket. I've just turned up, and all these people that they've sold the tickets to are just there to watch their mate punch someone in the face. So yeah, exactly. So it's just a case of you can't take anything too seriously. You can't take yourself too seriously, or just like just gotta get on with it and just have a laugh with it. And like I quite like playing up to it, and I like to use my personality and my gestures and some like crowd interaction just to try and win some fans over almost. Like I can booed on the way in and cheered on the way out by losing. I take pride.
I did notice that you've not got the big moustache. When did that go?
It sort of ran its course for me, really. It sort of became my identity with boxing, and then like it was just a case of I was like I said, I'm on the tools, so I'm up at the crack of dawn. I'm not really stood between the toilet, waxed moustache to go work at a building site. So yeah, I just got rid of it. It was like it was pissing me off, so I got rid of it.
Yeah, fairly. Fair enough. But it's like you say, it is. You don't get many boxing fans. It must be. Did you find it was easier, kind of going into the away corner? Because I've had another close friend of mine, who I think maybe only had about 8 or 9 fights.
Yeah.
And he was like, I mean, he won a Southern area title. But I used to see the stress that he would go through to try and go out and sell tickets, and that constantly people saying they were going to buy tickets off you, and then you getting the ticket from the promoter, and then it was just like all that kind of effort, like time and effort they spent in trying to sell tickets, and then like fucking like it's like nervous energy fucking being consumed before they've even got into the ring. Like
you turn up at the venue and and you got to go see him before the fight, and then you get a bit shaking hands, selfies, for an hour in the bar.
Yeah.
Pushing, shoving you around before you even got in there. I fell into the boxing, not into the journeyman role. So again, by accident, I've been around because my mate, I was talking about Chris Higgs again. He'd been in the pro game for about a year or two before I'd even thought about really turning pro, because I was over in Afghan and that during a portion of his career.
Mm-hmm.
So when I come back from Afghan, I was like, well, I'm going to do a year on the army boxing team, and I'm going to go pro. But the army boxing team couldn't happen because there was trials. I couldn't get a trial. I'd missed the boat on the trials.
Okay.
Yeah, so then so I was like, I'm going to go pro then. So my RCMO, my careers officer, let me go pro. And sort of like I said, I was running around like a madman, trying to sell tickets to everyone in my hometown. Like, I'm from a small area as well, in a rural area of Gloucestershire, so it was hard enough as it is. I got quite lucky in my first couple of fights. I've done about 120 tickets on my debut. And it's just because like I played football for a team called Whitecroft at the time, and we had 3 teams. So if I sold a ticket to every player and their missus, that was basically my allocation done. that was all right. And then, so I had one fight in the home corner, won it on a close points decision. Lost my second fight in the home corner. Just like I said, all that nervous energy, just stressing with the tickets. Just 2 rounds in, I had no energy.
Yeah.
Got picked off for the rest of the fight. Lost the fight, and then so then I got a phone. My manager at the time called me a couple of weeks after the fight. He goes, "Do you want to fight in London on this coming Friday?" I was like, "Hang on a minute, mate." And I sort of knew what Journeyman was, but I didn't realise that that's what I was being brought in as. And he said, I said, "How do you want me to go and sell tickets for a fight in London in like 4 days?" They went, No. You're the away fight. You just turn up and fight, and you'll get paid at the end of it. So I was like, "Oh, all right. What's the worst that can happen then?" So I sort of went there with an open mind. Absolutely took the kid apart. Absolutely beat him up and got the decision and won. So I was like, "Hang on a minute. You're telling me I've been running around like a madman, stressing out tickets. Well, I don't have to do it. I can just turn up and fight."
Turn up, beat somebody up, and fuck off home.
Oh, definitely. So that's exactly what happened. So I'd had a fight penciled in the home corner, so I honoured that. Then after that, I was like, every time the phone rings, say yes. And then after, just follow from there.
It's a fair way of doing it. Like, I mean, it's just a lot. Makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, but then, like I said, with the Journeyman thing, everything's against you. You're in the opponent's back garden, and then I just started realising that this I was coming and have a go in every fight and then just getting mugged off. Here and there, and it was just like, what was the point in that? And then I started watching people like Christian Late and William Warburton. I just started watching them closely. Like, if they was on the same card as me and on before me, I'd go and watch them and just see what they were doing. And I just realised I saw exactly what they were doing, and I was like, I could do that. And then I started noticing that I could have a lot more longevity in this game by moving my edge and making a miss and not throwing as many punches back than standing toe to toe and having a war with every single fight. So obviously, like the old warrior in there, but as you can tell, like still got my real teeth, and I can know straight, and I can talk properly. So I'm obviously doing all right.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's true. Like, it's true, absolutely true. I mean, I did. Christian Lake was one of the guys. When I try and explain the kind of role of a journeyman to people, and them going, fucking look at his fucking record. He's lost over fucking however many fights, and you're going, no, wait a minute. You need to look. See if you actually look at his card and look at when he's fighting. These guys are fighting fucking 3 times a month. Like, I think is it my right in saying 3 times is the maximum you can fight in a month?
No, you can fight every week as long as you don't as long as you don't get cut and suspended off the board. You can fight every 7 days.
Exactly. So you could fight every single fucking week. These guys are fighting fucking most like 3-4 times a month.
Yeah.
And like against guys who are fucking, and they're not being. You need to look at the amount of stoppages they've got. I mean, you can get these kind of Hungarian taxi drivers that they can fucking pull out to be stuck on a show somewhere that are there just to be pulled over. Yeah. But actually, there are genuine kind of journeymen that are there to kind of just bring a boxer on and maybe expose a little weakness here or there. Yeah. And go, fucking, all right, mate, you're all along the right lines, but fucking watch this, watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I like that. Like I said, we fight every week, and like the only way we can do that is by keeping ourselves safe and keeping ourselves out of harm's way. So you quickly learn how to ride a punch, slip a punch, tie up on the inside. No, you sort of learn how to put your foot on the gas, conserve energy, and it all just comes with experience. You can't buy experience. And if you get cut or you get knocked out, that's a month off boxing. Like, immediate suspension, stamped boxing ball control, and you got to go see a doctor a month later to get signed off the fight again. So it's one, that's a pain in the ass, and two, like, you don't want to be suspended when you can be fighting. So that's just all about keeping yourself safe. Hence why, like, some fights you fancy it and have a bit of a go, but most of the time it's just like, I'm fighting again next week. I'm not going to risk getting a head clash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Some kid from Aberdeen.
Do you ever get that? You get in and there's a kind of a young lad and you're told just to kind of move his ladder around a bit, and then he comes in and he tries to, obviously gets a little bit excited.
You
How do you deal with guys like that? How do you go about that? Okay.
You sort of give them sort of give them the look of, do you understand what's going on here, mate? It's like, stand back and give them play the game, mate.
Yeah.
If they don't get that, then there's no telling them. Then like there's an unwritten rule of don't try and chin me and make me look make me look like a dick, and you'll quite happily win this fight on points.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what? From a non-boxer's perspective, if it's difficult, right, because I don't understand what the point is. Then see if you're like, right, just we'll move about a wee bit, we'll give the people what they want, and then do you know what I mean? That's what it's.
So I've got a wee analogy with that. I think it's a bit like, and I don't want to take offence, it's a bit like kind of like reserve football, like kind of like playing, like sending a footballer out on loan.
Yeah.
Like, say you got a young prospect and you send them out to, like, for like, say Celtic or Rangers, you send them out to fucking Dumbarton or a lower league, and you fucking, like, so he can cut his teeth as a professional footballer. It's kind of like guys like Pooch who are there to go.
But like like me personally, I can only speak for myself and maybe a handful of others, such as the likes of Warburton, Jordan Granham, people like that. Like, we're quite handy fighters ourselves. Like, we've got skills and we're schooled enough to be a prospect if we wanted to, but quickly wised up to the game and understood that we're not going to be a world beater, and to get to a certain level, you need everything to fall in place at the right time. Chances of that happening are pretty slim. So it was just a case of like you make that career choice at a certain point in your career. Like, it happened to me quite early on. Happened to Jordan Granham like immediately. Like I think he turned pro to think, oh, shit, I'm going to be a journeyman. But then he got the likes of Sam Egginton, who turned over to be a journeyman to earn himself a few quid because he had a kid on the way. End up being half decent. Now again, everything finds a place for him at the right place at the right time, the right opponents, the right man.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it. And then you get the guys like Eddie Hearn's dad. He took a wee bit of a shine to him, fucking. Exactly. And then before you know it, he's in the matchroom cards and being looked after.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
It's just I'd heard the term before, but I'd never actually come across it before. And what I was going to ask you, do you get that in women's boxing as well? Is there?
Yeah, the thing with women's boxing at the moment, but women's boxing is great, and there's a lot of women fighters out there that could kick my ass and a lot of other professional men boxers' ass, right? But like they haven't got much depth at the moment. So like with professional men's boxing, you've got a lot of depth there, and anyone like you join a weight class and there's already 90 names in that weight class in the one country. Like UK, like I'm in the super middleweight, light heavyweight division. There's like 90 names or something. But in like women's boxing, like you've only got, like you said, a lot of them are like Eastern Europeans. So they've only got a handful of names to choose from. So you got like, you got people that have only fought a handful of fights and they're fighting for a world title eliminator. Yeah. Because not to say that they're not good enough to be able to do it or anything, but if they have the depth there in the division, they probably might still be at that level. But, so they are female journeymen, but journeywomen, if you want to call them it. But they're not on the same level as us yet.
Because we had Hannah Rankin on the podcast before.
Yeah, we worked together a lot.
Yeah, she's so she went to the same school as us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but she comes from a tiny wee village at Loch Lomond called Luss, and there's about 15 people there. But she was talking about it, and I think that's what you were kind of alluding to there. It's the depth of people. She went from like being an amateur, and it was like she went as far as she could go with that, you know.
Yeah.
And then she became pro, and then suddenly she was a world champion, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's like you sort of have to get fast tracked. You sort of have to learn quickly. But like I said, the some of the female journeymen that I've seen, I've not been impressed with, and it's not taking anything away from any of those girls that have gone past the levels quickly. It's just like I've just seen them fall over, a few of them.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, I remember kind of watching a few of kind of Katie Taylor's like initial you're watching those fights and you're looking at some of these girls and you're going,
Come on,
yeah, come on,
yeah.
like, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's always that. I think I've been to a few small hall shows, and there's always that one guy. You're like, how did you get a license?
Yeah.
There's always that one bloke, and you're like,
that happens a lot more in America, really, because we're quite stringent with who gets a license in this country.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not any good, you won't get a license. But in America, like you've obviously seen the funny videos, like some of these people that have they've gone to like Midwestern towns, fallen a nightclub, got a professional license somehow, built the record up to 3-0, and then they're on an undercard of Floyd Mayweather fight and getting absolutely battered. They're so raw, their movement's not fluid, they're stiff as a board, they look like kids in there, boxing gloves on, and then you got people like myself who I'll get laughed out of a hearing in Nevada or California because my record's crap. But little do they know that if they put me in there with some of their prospects, I would give them a good run for their money.
Yeah. Do you have to see if whenever you're fighting and you think I've got the better of this guy?
Yeah.
Is there like a mindset change for you where you immediately step back a bit, or do you ever get that urge to just go, I'm going to level this guy?
Sometimes I got so a good example of that was I fought on a show a while back, and this kid, I was a welterweight once. I'm talking a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I was a welterweight once, and I fought I went from light middle down to welter, and then sort of worked my way back, worked my way up through that. Just again through experience, realizing how my body was changing and getting older, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But the point I'm getting to is, I thought I got brought in to fight this kid who done a lot of time out of the ring, and at the time I was a fully fledged middleweight and sometimes fighting at super middleweight, and this kid's only ever fought at 10.5 stone and under.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, this comes back to my don't try and chin me rule, and you'll win points. Right? But he didn't get it. He just didn't get it, and he'd been out of the ring for a long time, and he's fighting a fully fledged middleweight at this point, and he's weighed in under the middleweight limit because he just wanted to weigh in whatever he wanted to in his comeback fight, and so the first round he's come out swinging, bam, I'm tucking up, and I'm like, mate, you're gonna have to calm this down. Your punches aren't hurting me enough for me to respect what's happening here. And all you're doing is blowing yourself out. So he's throwing these haymakers at me, and then so about halfway through the first round, I was like, it's a ref said break, and I looked at Rich in my corner and went, he's blowing out of his head. And I knew that he hadn't fought for ages. I'm fighting every week, so I've got the ring fitness. So in midway through the first round, I start seeing him pop, seeing him, and I can't miss him. So then it's become obvious then, even to the bystanders at ringside, who have not got a clue what I do or what they're watching. It becomes obvious that I could beat this kid with one hand.
Mm-hmm.
So first round goes by, and I went, Rich, he's absolutely blown out of his ass, and Rich went, go for it then. So I went, all right, I will. Just absolutely pinged him about the ring for the next 3 rounds and beat him up. But then, like I said, because I took that option to do that, if I'd have walked him around the ring, one is crap viewing, right?
Yeah.
But I would have got work again off that promoter and matchmaker because I've done him a favour.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I took a bit of pride into my own hands and realised I made it a good fight for the spectators. Whether this kid lost or not, it's still a good spectacle. And that matchmaker, promoter, matchmaker, he barely spoke to me for about 3 years. Honestly, I swear on my life. I swear on my life. He was ignoring Rich's phone. Rich is my manager. Richard Farner, he's my manager. He was ignoring his texts, ignoring his phone calls, and then eventually he pulled me in to do him a favour on a big show, thinking I'd get knocked out, which didn't happen. That wound him up even more.
It's crazy, isn't it? It kind of goes to show that ultimately these promoters aren't really that. As long as a bloke's selling tickets, They're just fucking just want to ride the wave. Just keep him fucking winning, keep him selling tickets, and then ultimately they'll get to a level where
is that you'll get found out eventually.
You'll get found out, and then
No, a good example of that is an ex-opponent of mine. He's actually doing really well now. He's taken the journeyman route. His name's Robbie Chapman. He's probably a good one to get on your podcast actually, because he's got a good little story to tell. So works as a caretaker at a college or something, and he's charismatic, but he's not like the most out there guy. Sort of. I think from what I know of him anyway, he sort of go to work, go home, see his missus, that sort of stuff. So pubs like I am, sell tickets, and like other people are. So, but he's really struggled with the tickets, and like I fought him, then he didn't get paid for the next fight because he couldn't sell the tickets, but he wanted to fight. Then he started like asking me questions. How can I do this? What's the transition phase to being a journeyman? I just went, just tell your manager that's what you want to do, and the phone calls will come. So he's done. And he's really took the journeyman room like a duck to water. Gives it a go for the most couple of fights, and because he's still got I think he's on a losing record now, but I think he had a few fights where he got the nod off the big shows because on paper it's a winning record, but he's a journeyman. He's a good example of why people take that route. So I'd give him a shout if I was you.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. That so another thing I want to ask you, obviously, like the way that obviously with COVID now everything's changed in regards to how shows are put on. So you're not getting these shows aren't being put on in kind of arenas or sports halls or anything like that. It's now all kind of TV studios. So you've not got the kind of off the camera fights that more often than not you would probably be put on to bring young prospects along. And so how have you found kind of being booked onto cards and stuff now? Because I know you fought on BT Sport the other week, didn't you?
Yeah, recently. I guess this kid actually. He gave me a T-shirt. He's got a little clothing brand, so yeah, I wanted a T-shirt. Carolo Torma. Anyway, so I sort of got overlooked a lot. Like it really started to wind me up a bit. I sort of lost faith with boxing a little bit at one point. The love for it's back again now. It's sort of when the first lockdown came in, it was just like, right, it's out of my hands now. Can't do any boxing. Fine. So I just carried on living my life, carried on working. And then boxing came back in like July. So I was like, right, we'll get on some of these cards. These 5 fights a card, but what I was thinking what they'll do is they'll have a big fight at the top of the card and then 4 journeymen against prospects. That was what I was thinking, but it didn't turn out that way. All the TV companies wanted 50-50 fights where there's booking people like that I would take or walk around the ring who's like 3-0. And hasn't really fought at any level and getting absolutely peppered by these hot prospects who's on the up and signed with big promoters. So I started getting, I was like, right, that's done now. Surely we're going to get some phone calls coming, Rich. Surely. He's like, mate, honestly, I'm putting your name out there for everyone, but none of the TV initially wanted my record, because it flashed up on the screen as he's lost 100 fights. It's like, and TV executives don't necessarily know what they're watching or talking about. Mm-hmm. All they want is a winning record on their screen. The 3 seconds it pops up. So then it just started pissing me off. I started getting more and more wound up that I wasn't getting in the fights, and then it was taking its toll on me financially. And then I was getting pissed off that I wasn't getting the fights again. So then I just started drinking more and then eating more and I was getting fat. So I was like, right, I'm gonna put my faith in humanity here. I'm just going to start training, started running every day, started doing a bit of sparring here and there. And then a phone call came in, like a last minute one, and we're in. So yeah, sorry, I've got a low battery warning. There you go. So then finally one came in. But I think when boxing gets back to normal, it looks like to be on the horizon with the vaccine and that coming in. Yeah. And crowds are starting to filter back in. So small hall boxing can start again soon, hopefully. Eventually it's all going to go back to normal, but I reckon for the next 6 months at least we're still looking at these TV shows and I'll be trying to get Tommy Fury.
Man. That's it. It's crazy, isn't it? Like you say, people don't with your obviously with your record being what it is. Do you find that the board get a little bit? Do they get involved at all? Because I know like I've read a book not a while back about journeymans, and a few of them like saying that they'd be brought into the board to have like a hearing about their record and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you at all?
I'm not too sure on the exact actual rule and how they police it. But historically, like it was 4 losses in a row, you get pulled in to have a chat about what's going on and why you ain't winning. Yeah. But I think now they just assess it person by person and case by case.
Right.
Yeah.
So like with me, like I'm not dancing around the ring for 4 rounds. I'm not running away. I'm not being engaged in the fight. I'm not putting a shot on a show. Where like I think that's what they don't like. So like you do get brought in for a hearing. If you're taking punishment, you're not making a fight that's exciting, because then it just becomes what's the point?
Yeah.
And if you get beaten up, and if you're getting beaten up, but if you're passing the medicals, but it's looking likely that you're going to end up getting hurt, then the board will pull you in for that sort of thing. But I'm quite lucky, touch wood. I've not really been pulled in just because, like I said, I like to stand and have a bit of a fight, and I can handle myself in there, and I'm not just tucking up and running away for the duration.
Is there quite a lot of like you were saying about getting hurt and stuff like that? Is that? I mean, obviously that's part of the sport anyway, but more so for journeyman. Did journeyman have like a longer career or a shorter career in boxing because of that?
Yeah, like that's good point actually. The journeymen don't really spar very often, so like, and a fight is a lot more cagier than a sparring session, right? Sparring session, you don't care, do you? Get hit, so what? No one's watching. Like
that's a time to make your mistakes, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You got a big head guard on. You that's just like a full sense of security.
Big 16-ounce gloves on, nice big cushion and stuff like that. You can hit a bit harder.
But then these fighters, which are prospects, they're sparring 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah,
they're not doing 4 rounds sparring. They're probably doing 6, 8, 10, 12 rounds. Right, so they're getting hit in the head a lot more than I am, because I don't spar unless I've had time out of the ring and I want something to do. But so that's my argument to that. When people say, "Oh, it's dangerous. You shouldn't be fighting every week." That's got to be dangerous. But look at the fights. Don't get it too often. I don't know if you've seen the video of me doing the movements. And
well, your last post, I like that on Instagram, like because your man had put one out making himself look excellent. Actually, 2 seconds, mate. There's another side to that story. It's amazing.
And I didn't get out of second gear the old fight, but that's
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Actually, because I was watching that you were with Carl Frampton, and he was talking about before the Quig fight, he did like 200 rounds or something like that.
Exactly that. Exactly. You spar 200 rounds at probably 10 rounds each. 10 rounds. 10 rounds each session. And how many punches are you taking in those sparring sessions? Regardless of what level you're fighting at, you're still getting clipped.
Yeah,
on a
100%.
Almost daily basis sparring. So that's my argument to that, where I think journeymen can, not all of them, can have a longer career by learning defensive movements and making people miss. That's sort of the role I've taken. I can stand 6 inches in front of you and you still do well to hit me with a clean shot. I'll take pride in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why these still real things.
It's so true though, isn't it?
Definitely.
I think as well, people are like a lot of boxers, and people are too worried about losing that. Nobody wants the loss on the record, so everyone just wants that kind of that padded out record to make it look like. I mean, Deontay Wilder was one of the fucking best at it. I mean,
definitely.
Who he actually fought in his first shoe fight. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying it to his face because he's a lot bigger than me. No, but ultimately, but it's true. I mean, when you look at the kind of caliber of fighter, he's just been brought along just to right. You bring there's somebody, go and bowl him over.
Even when he had the world title, though, they're carefully picked.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone was.
The ranking systems are funny because like when you're at top level, you're at top level, right? And you're good and you stay there. But then you look at people like that Zara Mata, the fought the other night. He should have been in the with Golovkin. And then you go back as far as like when Cal Brook was world champion and he couldn't get the big fights, so he had to fight his mandatories. And he fight people like Jojo Dan. Who should have been
exactly. Yeah, he was nowhere near it.
Yeah, nowhere near a ring with the likes of Cal Brook. So like, it's a funny old one. So like, they're just if careful management, then eventually he got found out, though, didn't he?
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
So see, you obviously were in the army as well, and you said you were in Afghanistan and stuff like that. But do you think that you're addicted to the adrenaline? Is that what this is? Because have you retired? Because. From an outsider's perspective, that wee bit of danger, is that what sort of gets you going? No,
not really. I'm quite a placid bloke, really. Like I'm quite content. Don't need to seek adrenaline all the time. Quite happy going to the country pub and sit by the fire. Don't need to just be jumping off buildings all the time. Do you know what I mean?
But I suppose your base level for adrenaline is probably a lot more than what mine is.
I don't know about that, you know. I like boxing. I love boxing. Boxing's sort of been the best part of my life.
Yeah.
Taking up most of my time, and I just love boxing. It's like I don't require the adrenaline. I don't really get too pumped up for the fights. I'm not walking around the changing rooms beating my gloves together.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Like me and Rich just sat there chit chatting, having a laugh, like looking at our phones, like dancing. Like there's none of that stuff. There's a good picture of me and Richard. There's a photographer coming around the changing rooms, and he's trying to capture like pre-fight moments. He's really in-depth moments between trainer and.
We'll get the hand grab looking real serious and that.
Yeah. I'm gloved up now. I'm like just doing my warm up. Like, he's coming. He's like, Poochie, I know it's a tense moment, but mind if I get some snaps of you just before you're about to ring walk? So I was like, yeah, mate, no problem. So I looked at Rich and went, watch this. So I sat there going, I can't give you a straight face now. I was like, sat there, posing for the camera. But then like Rich saw what's going on, I was like pissing myself laughing. And then there's just a picture of us both fucking crying laughing. Just mocking the whole system.
That was brilliant. I love that.
So tell us, what's it like life on the road, doing it, like travelling all over the place? Because obviously it's
not easy. It's not easy. Like I live in the southwest of England. I live in Bristol, and like there's not a lot of shows in that area. A lot of it's in London, Birmingham, and up in the north. So that's where the main small promoters promote. So that's where a lot of our fights go. So like it's literally. So if you're going up north and you got to weigh in at 1 o'clock, you've got to be gone early. You'll be on the road by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
You get up there, do your weigh in.
Yeah.
Then you got to wait until the boxing starts about 4 or 5 o'clock. You could be on first, you could be on last. So then, like sometimes you're home by 7 o'clock, back for Corrie. Sometimes you're back for 2, 3 in the morning. So it's not easy. It's long all days, but like. You drive 4 hours in the car. Most of the time, you drive 4 hours in the car, you stop, you get a pint, you have something to eat, have a nap, chill out, and then carry on what you're doing. With this, you got to get out of the car and get straight into the boxing ring.
I know that.
It's rough, isn't it?
Yeah. But you know, like I said, I'm used to it now. I'm conditioned to it, and I love doing it. So I'm quite happy doing it. Not for everyone.
What's the tightest turnaround you've had then? Because obviously, I imagine you get a lot of kind of last minute sort of calls and stuff like that through. So what's the tightest sort of turnaround you've had?
Yeah, but for me, it's not been too bad. I sort of had one. I remember me and my mate Craig, I worked for. We was chatting about this the other day. Like, so basically, I was meant to be fighting in Liverpool on Saturday in October last year. Ring Rich and said, "What time's the weigh-ins tomorrow, mate?" So then he goes, "Oh shit, just found out your fight's off." I was like, "Oh shit. That's not ideal." So he goes, right, I'm going to ring around the promoters and see if there's any last minute for it. I said, yeah, no problem. So chances are it's not going to happen. So I'm just going to tempt fate now. And I have a pint at lunchtime and I'm going to have a Burger King on the way home from London. So I was working in London. So like Burger King, London, I'm eating the Burger King. The fans, oh, this is delicious, lovely. So then phone call goes. And I went, I said, it's happened. It's fucking happened. I've had a pint and a burger. It's going to happen now. Watch. So he goes, Rich goes, right, I don't care how much you weigh, but I've already taken the fight. And you got to be in Newcastle first thing in the morning. So you're going to fight John Doherty tomorrow. I was like, all right, fine, no problem. So got on from London, got the sweatsuit on and just jogged off the Mackies and the pint night at the Burger Kingdom. And the pint I'd had, and so then I was up on the plane to Newcastle at 8 in the morning the next day. So yeah, but I've known that's probably the closest one the shortest notice I've taken, apart from like last minute, like can you fight tomorrow, like when I'm like first thing Friday morning and then you fight Saturday night. But I've known people who have been sat down to have their dinner, just sitting down to have their dinner like with the missus and shit, and like and it's like, can you turn up and fight at this venue now? We'll pay you X amount. They're like, yeah, right.
Wow.
I love. I'll be back.
Gotta go, love.
Plate my dinner up. Leave me in the oven.
Yeah. See you in a bit, love. Come on. That's incredible.
Gosh, that's mental, man.
That's incredible.
Oh yeah, but like, if you get like that's your role, I'll take it.
Quite right, man. Quite right.
Yeah.
I just think that's mental. You just sit there having your dinner like that. It's all right. All right, here we go. We'll fucking wrap up here.
2 seconds.
Hello.
2 seconds, love.
I'm just gonna nip it.
Get punched in the face in a bit.
Just gonna nip it.
My shorts dry. Yeah, my shorts are dry. Yeah, I'll take.
Just come back in with a black eye. Was it worth it? Eye?
Finish in the oven.
Oh, that's funny, man. That is funny.
Good. So you said that you were you were obviously you were in the army and stuff. Did you box much whilst you were in? Because I know it can be kind of slightly intermittent. I know lads that you obviously get into the army squad and that's all they do. But for like yourself, how did you go about it? Like whilst you were in?
Well, didn't really get that luxury. I sort of I got quite lucky in the end, but I'll come on to that. So I joined when I was 16, but I didn't really enjoy it. I'd done depot, all the way through depot. I got to my battalion, but because I was young and I was under 18 when I got to my depot, I had the choice to leave. So I ummed and ahed about it. I had to leave before I was 18.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
My 18th birthday to realise I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I left. I left it because I was just a bit wet behind the ears. I was a bit naive and like it didn't suit me at the time.
Yeah.
But then I had something inside me. It was like, so basically I left just before I was 18, and then my battalion went to Afghan about 6 months after, and it was just in my head. Should have been on that tour. Mm-hmm. And when I was seeing like lads I was like knocked about with in the NAFI dead, I was like, I feel a bit guilty. I'm gonna go back in. I'm gonna do my bit. Yeah. So I went back in. I had to go back through depot again because technically I was never in the army because I was under 18. So, which just sort of helped me out, as to be fair, because I had a lot of skill faded setting. But so I went back in, and then I was like, right, when you had to pick your unit, I was like, which one's going to Afghan next? They said, well, one rifle are just out there now, so 2 rifles will be going out. You'll be straight up from here onto PDT, pre-deployment training, and then straight out to Afghan. So I was like, I'll go there then, please. So I've done that, done Afghan, done my bit. Enjoyed it. Got the story medal. So then I come back and I was like, right, I've done my bit for the army. And I love boxing and I want to go on the army boxing team. Didn't transpire, so my careers officer let me go pro. And then they sort of looked after me after that. Then they gave me access to the gym. I only had to go to work if they needed me, like as in like if they needed an extra bod. And then they put me on a recruitment team. And then I just sort of boxed for the army implicitly, and then
that's ideal. That
and then I was talking about me getting RTU, and I wasn't ready to go back, so that's why I decided to leave. And I like my freedom. I don't want to shave every day and all that sort of stuff. So that's when I leave. Done my 6 years. Done my tour. So
happy day. So did you go through Harrogate first time round when you said you were
Basenbourne?
Basenbourne, was it? Right. Okay.
I went through Basenbourne and then Catterick, and then when I went back in again, I was an adult, obviously, so I went through as a
straight through Catterick again. It's one of those. I
was actually trained by my DS in in Catterick the first time. Royal Regiment of Scotland.
Oh, were they actually? Yeah.
I understand what the shouting when you're shouting in Scottish. Who is you bastard?
That was actually not bad.
Man, fuck up.
That was really good, by the way. That was really good.
It's mad though, because I spent 14 years in. Like I was in the signals, and I actually ended up being a section commander at Harrogate. And it's one of those things when you get kids coming in at like 15 and 16, you're kind of going. You can see some of them. You're like,
you're not ready.
You're not quite ready for that. There were some kids coming in. You're going, I fucking get why you're here, because you like if you.
I think I was I smashed my basic training. I was top soldier. I finished top of the class.
Yeah.
I wasn't I wasn't a gobshite. I wasn't shit at what I was doing. I just wasn't ready for it as a man.
It
was such an eye opener going from Basingbourne, where there's fucking kids everywhere, and the only adult interaction you get is from your DS.
Yeah.
Go into a army unit which was shipping out to Afghan in 6 months' time. So I was just like, I'm not really ready for it. I was getting treated like a prick as well because I was a young kid, and I was just like, I don't have to be here. I'm here to do a job, and I'm willing to work at it. But yeah, so that's why I decided to leave. But I'm glad I went back in as an adult. It did me well going back in as an adult.
Yeah, definitely. So which Afghan were you? When were you in Afghan?
I went Herrick 15, so that was 2011, 2012.
See, literally the one after I done Herrick 14, so I was there that summer. That was my last one I was on. Yeah.
Where was you?
So we were in Rahim in the Upper Garesh Valley, PB Rahim. We were. It
was in Nari Siraj, near south.
Yeah. It was Naz. I think we were Naz North. I think we were in northern part.
Right, to be fair, not what happened.
But that was that's what I said. I've said that to people. Like it was when people kind of talk about it. You're like, you go through. So I was with 3 Mercian when I was there the first time. The second time, sorry. So Herrick 14. So similar role to imagine you'd been doing. We're out kind of doing a ground holding role. Yeah, and you're just kind of looking after an area and basically just making sure that there's
fuck off.
Yeah, no gunslingers kicking into the eye. Just make sure the gunslingers stay away from you. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Don't come in here, mate. A couple of months' time, then you can come back. That's it. I'm not asked about you now, mate. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because I was like, you go out there expecting it to be fucking a million mile an hour, don't you? And it's it's not quite the case.
So I don't know, especially for like an infantry, you're sort of chucked out into the middle of nowhere. So I wasn't expecting to be a million miles an hour all the time. I knew it would be quite mundane. But like even we went in a winter tour as well, so that they don't really like fighting in the winter because it's freezing. They don't. No, so it was quite quiet for us really. But yeah.
Well, we would have said we had a bit of. To be fair, we had kind of like a consolidated period where it got like you say, they call it fighting season for a reason. They all kind of condense it into a certain period of time. And there was a period where it was kind of most days you were getting something.
Yeah.
But I mean, did you ever have any sort of kind of close calls or anything like that at all, where you were kind of
we had,
afterwards you think?
There's a few areas where we patrolled like concurrently with another unit, which is another PB, which is in the area. And they got hit a couple of times by IDs. And we was lucky we didn't get a single ID strike. The same sort of area, so they just got unlucky. We had like the Taliban, they was using the kids to like throw like stuff at us.
Yeah,
they threw a grenade over one day and didn't pull the pin.
Sort of that, it's amazing. Yeah.
And then they fired at us sangers in the middle of the night, and that was pretty much it, really. There's a few firefights. Nothing like 10-hour firefights. It was literally shoots and scoops.
Yeah, it's just your $10 Taliban, that, isn't it? Just your kind of. So I can see Greg's looking confused there. It would basically just be like these guys that were just given money just to be like, right, you go and shoot at them, and it's basically just a farmer. He's like,
all you can do is arrest him.
Yeah. You go and shoot at them, and he's like, oh, okay. So he'd literally be like, just fucking I done it. Fucking fire from the hip. Okay, done it. Nipped. I've done it. Yeah. Fucking give me my money. I'm good. Like, yeah. So that's. It's weird how you get kind of desensitized to that sort of stuff, though, isn't it? Because you kind of get like. I mean, I remember you. I was the Carl Frampton one. You were talking about how you the itch in your helmet, and you were like the top of your wagon, and you went, oh, fucking.
Yeah, I, believe it or not, I was having some long hair. So
yeah, but it's mad. I mean, I had a similar one to that as well, where we were so our little PB, we had we were quite lucky in that we had a little fob Wi-Fi bit, so your lads were able to get on the internet in the kind of our main patrol base. But that fucking it broke basically. So fucking the internet broke, and because I was signals and I dealt with the radios, they were like, right, Shieldsy, you fix the internet. What come out? Fix the internet. And you're like, how do I do that? Are you kidding me on? All right, I'll fix the internet. So basically, I worked out there was this. I managed to phone around and find somebody who knew how to fix it, and he's like, yeah, you need to get this satellite dish, take it apart, put it back in the box, and send it back to us. So I was like, right, fine. So it was on top of the wall, on top of this on this fucking big blast wall. So I was like, got up there at like as far as far in the morning, dead early in the morning. You got up there, and you hear the whole, you like a crack in the third, and you're
crack in the third.
Yeah, and you're like, that'll be all right, it's fine. So I've got up there without any body armor or my helmet on. Just get some tools, get up there, get it all taken apart, and you can hear it, and it starts getting faster and faster, a little bit closer, and you're like,
what is this? What is this you can hear?
Crack in the third. So if somebody's fired around, you can hear like a crack, and then like a thud from where it hits. So it's like where the round ends, basically.
Whoa!
So it's like it's
just
one of those
crack. It goes over your head. It's a big crack.
Yeah, if it goes over your head, yeah. So that was it. In that, I'm stood at the top, and the crack thud's getting faster and closer, and then the next thing I'll hear is that whiz. You know what it whizzes just over your head. I was like,
yeah.
had to dive down. I remember Sergeant Major going, "Shoes, have you done?" I was like, "Boss, honestly, I ain't going back up yet. I'll go back. I'll do it tomorrow." And he's like, "All right, okay, fair enough, no worries."
Fair play.
Yeah,
fuck
it's
that.
mad, isn't it?
Fuck that. Who needs that in their life, man? Who needs that?
Yeah. Got dodging bullets and dodging punches now.
That's it, yeah.
So tell us what does the future hold?
More fights. I've only recently been fitting lifts, about a year, but I've got a good career, so I'm going to stick at it. So obviously, like, boxing is a short career anyway. Even if you're at top level, like, you need something to do after.
Yeah.
So obviously, you've got just keep plugging away, keep learning, keep fighting whilst I can. Probably going to take the referee route as a professional ref when I hang gloves up myself. That's a long way off here. I reckon I got another 2 or 3 years left. But my motto is I take it one medical on one day at a time. So if I'm healthy and nothing's flagged up in medical and I'm not getting hurt, then I'll keep fighting. The second I start failing medicals or getting anything flagged up or getting told, advised to retire, I'll do it.
Start having to go and fight on a Malta show or something like that.
Yeah, mate, I'll keep plodding on. So yeah, eventually hang the gloves up, be a referee, full-time lift engineer for Brothers Lifts. That's it.
So actually, what I wanted to talk to you before we finish up, what I wanted to ask you was, where's the best and worst places you've fought? Because you've travelled all over the place.
We travelled all over the place. So the best is obviously the O2 Arena. Between the O2 Arena and the MEN Arena, that was great. Just a good experience just to fight in that. I remember just like before both of those fights, just sort of looking up, have a look around. So I'm in the centre of this big. Even if I was on the card at like 6 p.m. when it's filling up, but yeah, it's still nice to be on those arenas. But the worst one's probably it was go to Hull on a Saturday morning. Go up there and it's just like we turn up. Sat in the car park, like fuck off. You can't be fighting here, surely. It was almost like a derelict, abandoned rugby club. And on this rugby club, it had like a big hall, almost like a sports hall sort of thing. But it had no heating. It's fucking like December or some shit. Honestly, it was fucking Baltic. It was fucking freezing. So, yeah, I walk in there. I was like, shit, we are actually finding there's a ring in there. Then, oh, come on then, lads, I'll show you where the changing rooms are. So, go in the changing rooms, the old rugby changing rooms, which hadn't been used for fucking so many years. Fucking freezing there. We just sat there in our coats and fucking hats. It's like, it's so cold. Go back into the arena. Still no heating in there. All they've done, they put in the four corners of the room. They just put these like generator blow heaters. It's like that's not going to work. There's no insulation in it. It's just going to blow all air straight out. Mate. Yeah, that was the worst one I fought in. Literally, I got out of the ring. I got straight out and got in the car and went home.
How often do you fight in Scotland?
Before it was quite a lot because Sam Kinnott does a lot of shows up there. Up at the Lagoon Centre in Paisley and the Crown Plaza. So he does a lot of shows there. I used to get a lot of work off him, but obviously they've stopped now. So look, when they get back, I'll be fine up there. Where are you guys in Glasgow?
Just outside. Well, this is in Northern Ireland just now, and I'm like half an hour from Glasgow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Is Kinnock Gym, is that?
Give you a shout then.
Yeah, definitely. Is Kinnock Gym, is that something to do with Gary Jacobs? Am I right in saying that?
Gary Jacobs, yes. Sam Kinnock is the promoter.
Right.
Yeah. He does a bit of training at the lads as well. Gary Jacobs is one of the trainers at the Kinnock Gym.
Right.
Yeah, so they're good bunch of lads up there. They're half decent as well. Half decent fighters up there.
I think that's where Hannah trains, but I've met Gary Jacobs once. He was a lovely guy, man. Really, really nice boy. Lovely guy.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool, Gary. He's cool as Gary.
Was he a European champion? Huh?
I think so. He fought Pernell Whitaker, didn't he?
Yes.
Took him 12 rounds.
Hard man.
It's some achievement that, like, it's genuine.
Yeah. Genuine. That was his first world title fight. I don't know if he had another one after that, but obviously lost it.
Well.
So he's a good fighter in his own right, as Gary. Good bloke.
Yeah,
he taught you all day about boxing if you let him.
Right, okay, well, we'll call it an evening there, gentlemen. Cheers for coming to talk to us, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, mate, spot on. I really enjoyed it, lads.
Yeah. And good luck for the future, my man. And no doubt we'll maybe see you up in Scotland sometime.
Definitely. We'll hit up the casino after. That's probably where we end up on the Sam show.
Right, okay, I'm just going to sign off just now, gentlemen. Cheers for listening, folks. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons.